Hello, and welcome to Life in Pages. Today, I will be doing a book review over the fourth and final book in the Wicked Year series, Out of Oz by Gregory Macquire. If you all are new or haven't seen or heard the other videos about this series, please go to them first due to potential spoilers. Also, if I give any spoilers away today, I am so sorry. Okay, I do apologize. I did try to put in some warnings, but I know talking about the last and final book of a series, I know it's going to come out, and I do apologize in advance whenever that happens. So, anyways, this is the only book in this series that I took my time reading, like literally snail type reading. If y'all are been following me since the beginning on this, so I did my best to absorb what the author was truly saying, but I also was doing like slow snail type reading just because I wasn't sure what the hell I was going to be stumbling against, right? So as a heads up, this book, like all the others in this series, is for a mature audience, aka it's not for children, it's not for your 2-year-old, it's not for like your 10-year-old. I would not give this to a 10-year-old, okay? Due to all the adult themes, right? So because the series is known for a lot of sex or rape scenes, that's why I was reading it at snail pace, y'all. Did not need to be triggered during the holidays. Anyways, on that subject, luckily, the author doesn't use any, well, not say any, he doesn't use them like he does in his prior books in this series. There is like one for sure in there, but it's like so quick you can like skim past it. So, which is nice. Honestly, it was refreshing how little sex or RAP scenes, like how it was refreshing that there was very little sexualized things in this book, particularly. It was really nice. Now that we cleared that up, let's dive in a little bit more of Out of Oz. So Out of Oz is mainly about Lear's daughter, her name is Rain. She's also Elphaba's granddaughter. Throughout this growing up or coming of age story, we get to see how alike Rain is to Elphaba and Lear. It isn't clear until much later in the plot that Rain is the main focus of the story. When the story starts out, it's through Dorothy's perspective. Then it goes to Lady Glinda for a long while. We, as the reader, don't even encounter Dorothy again until about halfway through the plot. And I mean half flippin' way, y'all. Half flippin' way. Okay? Greg did a good job of getting the hook into us. And then then repeats the hook much later, halfway through. Anyways, I personally don't like that he did that, the author did that sort of switch and bait or misleading the reader in such a way to where it can be confusing to the reader on who the main focus is for this story. I had troubles with it, and I've been reading all my life. Okay. So I can only imagine anybody else out there. And I love stories. Anyways, that's just my personal taste. I've met some readers that do like that sort of thing. If any of y'all do, this book is definitely up y'all's alley. Anyways, when it comes down to the main character, which is Rain, we as a reader watch her grow up and figure out the world that she's in. Rain's plots and Alpha plots are very similar to where it's almost a parallel to each other, which to me I thought that was a very nice touch to the end of the series in a very nice subtle way. The difference between their plots is that Elphabas is in a time of peace, or before things really get bad. Like there's stuff shady going down in the government, but there's not a full out war. There's still some peace there, right? However, during Rain's lifetime, it's clearly war. There's people dying, no matter what you do on both sides. It's a full out war. And the war was more or less caused by her family. So we get to watch how normal war is to Rain. along with how she processes it, and how it literally cost her so much. It literally cost her almost everything, which makes her more of a silent, hyper independent type versus Elphaba, who she was hyper independent, but she was also very, very vocal. Then there is the matter of Dorothy being brought back in this series, which to me, the title heavily suggests it. Sorry if that's a spoiler for y'all. I have a love-hate relationship to Gregory's use of Dorothy in this book or story. I understand that she's there to keep the plot moving while also showing how war times not only change people, but they can also bring out people's true colors. If any of y'all have watched Grave of the Fireflies, that is like a good way of showing how a loving ant turns into this villain of a character. And that's kind of what you're seeing with that's how it's very similar to how Gregory uses Dorothy, in the sense of displaying us to the readers. This is how wartime can change not only people but countries. Anyways, there's just the hate relationship I have towards her is more of there's some word choices and behaviors that bother me about her character. If y'all can't tell, I'm from the country, and I'm from Oklahoma, which is just south of Kansas. Okay, I'm in Oklahoma, it's just in between Kansas and Texas, and we get mistaken a lot. But I am country. I've done my fair share of traveling and living in different cities throughout the U.S. due to being an Army brat. I can tell y'all through my country self and the experience that I have done outside of in cities and everything, that the word choices that Gregory puts in his books, majority of the regular people, at least within the United States, do not use these words. So when I hear a country girl from Kansas who is just beginning her teenage years, in that time frame too, I think it was 40s. I'm probably wrong on that time. But the era of black and white television, okay? So when I hear a country girl like that speaking from that time period with those big ass words, it does take me out of the story. Because again, I've never heard any regular person talk that way. And a good example of this is when Gregory has Dorothy use the words like avodurpius. I probably did say that wrong, and when I looked it up, it means like something heavy. Yeah. And I do apologize that my accent's coming out when I get irritated. Sometimes when I get it. Anyways, it takes me out. So that's the part I hate about how Gregory uses Dorothy, is that I think he injects himself a little bit too much into her, and it does show when it does show, it takes me, the reader, out. The next and final character I will go over is the Cowardly Lion, aka Lord Burr, who has one of the most interesting character growths in the series that I wasn't seeing coming due to how the author went about it. Hindsight, it is more clear, but hindsight's always 20/20, right? Anyways, we as the readers get to watch Lord Burr being this sort of side character, then becoming a major glue of this group hero squad that is formed in this final book. And then he also is growing into a better version of himself through that. What makes Lord Burr interesting to me is that his story is similar to the biblical story of Jonah and the well, where both of these characters are avoiding responsibilities or running away from it, yet destiny, universe, fate, or whatever you want to call it, they're just saying, nah, you're gonna do these things no matter what. We're gonna think that you're doing your own thing, but we're still gonna give you this quest to do no matter what. And a good example of this is that Laura Bird originally didn't want anything to do with rain. Then this is a spoiler. He pretty much becomes her main father figure and protector throughout most of the book. Like, she highly looks up to this line. It doesn't help that Rain doesn't trust humans in the slightest, so there is that, but Lord Burr becomes a really, really big factor to Rain. Like, he is the main protector. So I thought that was very interesting. Then finally, there is the Grimoire, or the big magical book that's been showing up throughout this series. Yes, it does show up. Yes, it does play a big part on how the war ends. Yes, in ending the war, or the process of doing so, we get a new bad guy. Yes, it will leave y'all with some questions. I don't want to leave too many spoilers, because I did like how Gregory went about giving the book more or less a personality, and how its personality helped with ending the war. I think that's a beautiful nugget that I'll leave alone so you the reader can find out for yourself. Well, I will give you a spoiler warning. There is a bit at the end that can be taken apart all sorts of different ways, especially with everything seeming to be more extremely political nowadays. I will say that Gregory did a very interesting way of how general education does help our young and ourselves as a society and as a species to help find our true potential. And I'll just leave it at that. And again, it's another thing I did not see coming, and I congrats Gregory for doing that. You did good. Gregory, if you ever decide to listen to this, you did good. Okay? I know you'll get haters for it, but from a story's perspective, you did a good job. You did a good job on the story, on the storyline perspective. Anyways, I do like how well the other books fit and flow into this last book. You don't have the problems that I see with, especially nowadays, with series where the old crew takes over but doesn't let the new crew shine, or the new generation shine. And here it has a good way of balancing out and showing that time does keep going no matter what. I do like how Gregory ends the series by tying up most of the loose ends while leaving us readers with some questions. I did like how we get to see Rain and the Land of Oz itself find itself again and start their healing process. It's just a very nice parallel touch, in that it really warmed my heart how he went about doing that. When I compare Out of Oz to its previous counterparts, it's pretty solid and definitely better than the third book. However, due to having to read it with extreme heavy caution, plus some of the misleading part I mentioned in the beginning, I'm giving Out of Oz 3.5 pages out of 5 pages. If y'all are new here, I rate instead of using stars, okay, I rate them by pages. It's how I have fun with it, with my channel and with the rating system. So when most people say 3 out of 5 stars, or whatever, right? I just replace it with 3.5 pages out of 5 pages. It's just me having fun with it. Well, that is my conclusion for this series. Not for this series, but for this book, this final book in this series. Anyways, I thank you all for your patience and understanding for how long it took me to read this and get this review out to y'all. I also want to thank you all so much for just having this on the background, or if you're actually watching it. Kudos to you if you're actually watching it. My editor would love that. Yeah. So, but thank you all for just any support that y'all give to me. The easiest way to support me is literally just watching my videos. if you want to keep seeing or hearing or getting more content like this, just hit that like or subscribe button. I really do highly appreciate it. Every time I get one of those, it just makes my day. I get good. I'm just happy for the rest of the day, right? I'm just happy. But anyways, I hope y'all have a wonderful evening or night or day. I just hope y'all have a wonderful time, whatever y'all doing. And yeah, bye y'all.